Hey, welcome to Genki Clinic. My name's Toby. Today, I'm not going to talk about towel. Let's chuck that one away. Today I'm going to talk about your wrists and how to get them really nice and flexible and soft and loose. Often, in fact, the reason I had the towel on me there was because I was thinking about neck looseness and neck tightness. If you haven't seen my videos on loosening up your neck with a towel, please check them out. I'll put them in the link below here. The reason why that leads onto the wrist actually is because often when people have got wrist problems, this is the place where the problem is coming from. Obviously all of the nerves relating to the movement of the arm and the movement of the wrist and what have you, and the fingers come down through this area. So often you're going to find that people who have wrist problems, RSI, carpal tunnel syndrome, these kind of things. Obviously we can do a little bit of work directly here on the wrist itself, but the lion's share of the work needs to be done up here in the neck. So please check out those videos. If you start working a little bit on your neck, super simple technique, just using a towel, you've got one at home, you'll find that you're already getting yourself prepared for fixing your wrists if there's any pain there. And if you haven't got any problem with that anyway, work on both the ends of these and you're going to keep yourself pain-free. Basically your wrist is quite complex. You've got 2 bones coming in here in the arm. You've then actually got 8 little bones in the wrist here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that, all sort of lined up in 2 rows of 4. And they allow the wrist to move in very complex movements, circular movement backwards and forwards and like this, giving you a huge amount of flexibility and range of motion that allows you to be dexterous and to manipulate the world around you. So because we've got all this amazing range of motion with our wrists moving in all sorts of directions like this, we need to be making use of all that flexibility in our daily lives, but as a general rule we don't. As a general rule our fingers are mostly moving through our wrists like this or like this. We're not getting really an awful lot of use of all that range of motion. The other thing is the hand, in order to achieve all the very complex and dexterous movements that the fingers need to achieve, but at the same time to have enough strength in order for you to do things, the muscles which drive the hand are all up here in the forearm, and basically the tendons pass through the wrist here basically to power those movements. Okay, so what that means is we've got the power unit basically back up here, and they're transmitted through to the fingers and the hand through the wrist. What I'm looking for is one where we can actually let go of these muscles entirely so they also get relaxed. And I'm basically going to start like this with my arms nice and relaxed. Just micro bend the knees a little bit, just allows everything to be nice and relaxed and loose up top. And start shaking our hand like this, backwards and forwards. So as much as possible you want to have absolutely no force in any of the arm up to here, and you're just getting the movement, the backwards and forwards movement of the hand produced by the movement of the upper arm here, coming backwards and forwards like that. Alright, it's just like a little pendulum. It's easier to start down here, but what I want to do is bring it up horizontal if I can, relatively slowly like this, but the main thing is to get the total relaxation. Then if it's really relaxed, it starts to remind us of this little plastic toy that some of us played with as kids, where the head of the snake moves around entirely by the movement of gravity. Hence why I call this exercise snaking your wrist, or to snake your wrist. You can start to speed it up. You can start to speed it up. But remember, I'm using no force here. You start to speed it up. You start to speed it up even more. And then it becomes very free. The hand almost feels like a kind of, I don't know, like a bird or something. Here we're going to look at it in slow motion now. If I can keep things really nice and relaxed here in this wrist, so that there's no muscular force here at all, it's not, muscles are not pulling backwards and forwards, it's the forces transmitted through the elbow that are transmitted along the forearm, throwing the hand this way and then pulling it back. You can start to really get a lot of free movement in here, and you'll start to feel the wrist bones themselves starting to open up a little bit, and the ligaments which connect those bones obviously beginning to loosen up a bit, and all the tendons which go through from the forearm on the front and the back, all of them are starting to really move around. Even that much has already opened all this up, and I can feel my fingers have got a lot of sensation in them. and the wrist is very, very nice and soft. As with all of these ideas and these exercises, the idea is not to come in and try and do a big load in one go. Rather, try a little bit, play around with it, try it again, a lot of regularity like that. And like any habit, you're going to start to build up a little bit of knowledge, your body's going to start loosening up bit by bit. Okay, so with this video, we've now basically gone through how to get nice flexibility and movement in the wrist. We've done some very simple ones on the shoulder joint here, there's plenty more to come though, and then up into the neck, the towel technique. So please work away on those a little bit, and bit by bit we're actually going to start working our way down through the body to the bit that I'm really interested in, which is the lower back, getting that to engage correctly so that the whole body can act as one solid, good unit.